You've probably hired someone who seemed perfect on paper, then watched them ghost you 3 days before your deadline like they were entering witness protection. The freelance economy now has over 75 million Americans doing some form of independent work, which means the talent pool is enormous, and so is the risk. Here's what nobody tells you when you're building a side business. Hiring the wrong contractor doesn't just cost you money, it costs you momentum, and momentum is the one thing a side hustle cannot afford to lose. We're talking about the invisible tax of redoing work, re-explaining vision, and re-trusting strangers over and over again. The market for freelance talent exploded after 2020, when remote work normalized and platforms like Upwork and Fiverr became the new LinkedIn. But more supply didn't mean better quality. It meant more noise, more polished profiles hiding mediocre execution, and more of you staring at a screen wondering why the logo looks like it was drawn by a raccoon. Think of hiring a freelancer like dating everyone's on their best behavior during the pitch, and the red flags only reveal themselves after you've already handed over the deposit. The first trait that actually predicts reliability is responsiveness, not skill. Because someone who answers your messages within a reasonable window is showing you their work ethic before the work even starts. The second and third traits are specificity and receipts. A reliable contractor doesn't say, "I do great work." They say, "Here's the exact project, here's the outcome." Here's what the client said afterward. You're not buying confidence, you're buying demonstrated competence. And those are very different products at very different price points. Now, traits 4 and 5 live in the behavioral zone, and this is where most side business owners get tripped up. Does this person ask clarifying questions, and do they push back when something doesn't make sense? A contractor who just says yes to everything isn't agreeable, they're either desperate, or they're not actually reading what you're sending them. Traits 6 and 7 are about systems. Does this freelancer have a process, a contract template, a milestone structure, or do they operate on vibes and verbal agreements? The irony here is that the more corporate their setup feels, the safer your informal side business actually is. History is the honest part of this conversation. We've all read the Medium post about the 5-star contractor who delivered garbage, or the Fiverr horror story that turned a weekend project into a 3-month saga. The freelance world has always had this tension between autonomy and accountability, and the platforms have never fully solved it. They just added star ratings and called it a day. Trait 8 is financial behavior. Does this person have clear, upfront pricing, or do they, quote, low and scope creep you into a second mortgage? The contractors who respect your budget are the ones who respect the relationship. And a side business runs on relationships, not invoices. Traits 9 and 10 are the ones people skip because they feel soft, cultural fit, and long-term orientation. You want someone who gets excited about what you're building, even a little bit, and someone who's thinking about the next project before this one is done, because continuity is compounding, and in a side business, compounding is everything. Here's the misconception we need to kill right now. Cheap doesn't mean risky, and expensive doesn't mean safe. Some of the most reliable contractors charge mid-range rates because they've built sustainable businesses, while some high-ticket freelancers are just selling you a brand with a portfolio full of borrowed credibility. The practical move is this: run a paid test project before committing to anything large, something small enough that losing it won't hurt, but real enough that you can see how they communicate, deliver, and handle feedback. Process over conviction every single time, because your gut feeling about a freelancer is not a strategy. Discipline in hiring looks like a checklist, a vetting call, a small test, and a signed agreement, not a handshake and a prayer after a great Instagram portfolio. Position size matters here too. Don't hand a new contractor your most important project just because they passed the first filter. At the end of the day, building a reliable contractor network for your side business is like building any portfolio. Diversify, test small, and scale what works. The goal isn't to find one perfect person. It's to build a bench of vetted, responsive, process-oriented humans who make your operation feel less like a gamble and more like a machine. And if you're ready to stop guessing and start building that machine, whether through real estate investing, home contracting work, or connecting with the right lenders, check out our links in the description below.